Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study that's fresh and delicious. And I forgot to tell you yesterday, as I was so excited to get started on Psalm 104, I'm recording this in the dining room of the Bible Bistro. So I've got the window open and the fan on, and you can probably hear the nighttime cicadas outside and the fan maybe above me and the ringing of the chime. So all of that's just a little background music for us as we study Psalm 105. Today we come to a really important piece, and that would be 5 through 8. 5 is our last imperative. He tells us to remember. Let me just read 5 through 8 for us, and then I'll make some comments here. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham his servant, ye children of Jacob his chosen. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. So we have the word remember here twice. We're to remember, and we're to know that God himself remembers. But remember is our absolute command here. We're to remember his marvelous works. Well, we have to remember his marvelous works if we're going to tell of his wondrous works, remember verse 2, and if we're going to make known his deeds among the people, we have to remember what he's done. And the only way we can remember what he's done is if we know the story. And so here's the story that's going to be given to us. When we begin all the way back with Abraham, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham his servant, ye children of Jacob his chosen. So we're told to remember. We're told, of course, who we're to remember, his works, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. We're focused on the Lord. We're giving thanks to the Lord, calling upon his name, making known his deeds, singing unto him, talking of all his wondrous works. In his holy name we glory. We're seeking the Lord, his strength, his face forevermore. And then we're told to remember his marvelous works. So this is all about the Lord. And we have, again, just like we had in 104, in both parts, and in 103, we have this wonderful theology of God developed here for us by the psalmist. He paints this beautiful picture. He is, beginning in 7, here's our theology, he is the Lord our God. You'll notice there it says, his judgments are in all the earth. Remember, we're to remember the judgments of his mouth. His judgments are in all the earth. He's the one that is in charge of all things. He's sovereign, and the sovereign God is allowed to make judgments in all the earth, about all the earth. Verse 8 begins just like verse 7. He hath remembered his covenant. Now he's remembering something. He's remembering the covenant that he made. And who did he make that covenant with? Well, he made that covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, with Jacob. And we're going to see Isaac and Jacob and Israel all mentioned. And also Joseph is going to be mentioned. So he's remembering his covenant and everything that happens, beginning with Abraham, and moving on to Isaac and Jacob and Joseph. All the things that took place happened because God remembered his covenant forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. God is not going to forget the covenant that he made with men. All right, well, I hope you'll join me tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to look at verses 9 through 12. I think it's through 12. Or do we do a little bit longer piece tomorrow? Let me just see if I can turn my page. 9 through 13 tomorrow, and we're going to kick off this covenant that God remembers, and we're to remember that God remembers his covenant, and what is that covenant and how it's been played out throughout history. Remember, this is good soul care for us when we remember all that God has done. So join me tomorrow, and we'll pick up right there in verse 9 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.